Hello and welcome to Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm your host, Psychic Zelda Kelly. Warning: this podcast may contain sensitive material. It is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming back to this new year, new episode of Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm Zelda Kelly and I'm so glad that you have returned with us. We've got a really, kind of creepy story for you today. And so without further ado, let's get started. So today we're talking about Dr. Timothy Clark Smith from New Haven, Vermont. Now, Mr. Timothy Clark Smith led, I'm going to say, a pretty normal life, but he was very educated and he was, a very busy man. And he lived all over the world, but in particularly in Russia. So Dr. Timothy Clark Smith was a diplomat. He was a world traveler. He received a bachelor's degree from Middlebury College in 1842 and a medical degree from the University of the City of New York in 1855. So during his lifetime and in his career, he worked as a clerk in the United States Treasury Department. That's interesting, isn't it? He worked as a teacher, and he was also a physician. But he was also a staff surgeon for the Russian army. How interesting. From 1856 to 1857. Now, not only that, but he was also the U.S. consul in Odessa, Russia, from 1861 to 1875, Galatz, Romania, from 1878 to 1883. He had a very fulfilling life, and I know that from everything that I've read about him, he was very intelligent and a very good man. But there was one thing about Dr. Timothy Smith that many people have, and especially back in the 19th century. He was and suffered from a condition called taphophobia, and that is the fear of being buried alive. And evidently, Dr. Smith had seen evidence where people had been buried alive. Obviously, they didn't do many autopsies, if any, back then. So if you went into a coma or they thought you were gone, then you were buried alive. And incidentally, that was one of the reasons why they had to wake. Not only was it time to give the family time enough to say goodbye, but it was also that time so if something happened and someone woke up, and I got to take this little off story, because you know Zelda, right? You know me. I got to tell you a little side story. My father was in World War II. He had buddies that he ran around with, some Italians that he ran around with, and they were in Italy. They went to the funeral of one of their buddy's relatives. Dad said that you knew what was going on, but boy, he said that Italian funeral was wailing and crying. And it was a lady, but she wasn't old. She was I'm going to say above 60 from what he said. And he said while they were there, all of a sudden someone started screaming and gasping, and they started kneeling and praying, and lo and behold, this woman starts wiggling around in her casket and sits up. Now, I don't know about you, but the first thing I would be saying is, feet don't fail me now. I mean, obviously back then those things happened. And this was in the 40s, okay? World War II, Italy, 40s. He said they promptly left. Well, yes, of course. So even as late as the 40s and into the 50s, and sometimes even into the 60s, autopsies were not the thing. They really started that in the late 60s and into the 70s. So anyway, he had this fear, back to the story now, he had this fear of being buried alive. So he actually, and I'm going to post it here, I've got some pictures of Dr. Smith, and I'm going to post his, I guess, design of his own tomb. Now, so imagine this now. You have this fear. You're trying to face the fear because you know one day the inevitable is going to happen. So you actually design and you rig your own coffin so that if something were to happen, well, he could alert the gravekeeper, the cemetery attendants, other people visiting. We don't know. So I'm going to place this little diagram that he made. It's pretty interesting. And in the diagram, he has a horizontal window that actually had a tube coming up from his face, from his head up to ground level. And the tomb up to ground level had a window from the ground where you could actually had a window, you could actually look down on him. Oh my. So this was about 6 feet from ground level down to where his coffin was going to be. And it was centered squarely right over his face, so there was no mistake that you could see if he was alive, if he was, whatever he was doing, whatever the case may be. And we have talked before because he actually rigged this bell and had this station of a bell, and it's gone now. But he had this bell so that if something were to happen and he would rally and not be truly dead, oh my goodness, he could ring the bell. And I think we talked about that before in another series, another episode that we had, that you could say he was a dead ringer. That's where that saying came from. When someone rang the bell in the cemetery that was above their grave, he was a dead ringer. Now, what they didn't really know back then is that if you tie a bell, a string, a rope, something around the wrist of someone that had been buried, that during the decaying process, that bell could ring. And many, many times you could walk through a cemetery at night. Now imagine this, walk through a cemetery at night and hear bells ringing. Luckily, we don't do that anymore. And that's something. So that's just something we don't think about, is it? So anyway, they noticed that, all of this was together. There was all good. And then the inevitable happened. He passed away in 1893 in February. And everything, to all accounts, they said went very smoothly. Now, he said he wanted the window glass because he wanted to look at his wife in the ever after. But here's the other weird thing. His wife was buried beneath him. So, okay. However that worked out there, Dr. Timothy, you could look up. I don't know. Evidently, he was looking forward. Now, I'm going to post I have his obituary, and I'm going to post some pictures of him and I am going to post a picture of the cemetery. But the really odd thing, well, first of all, I want to get back to his grave. He had, at the end of each plate of the glass window, he positioned a cement tube that led from beneath the ground to the surface. And it's a 14 by 14 inch plate glass window that lays on this gravestone. You'll see it. I'm going to put some pictures up here. In addition to arranging this, he was buried with the bell in his right hand. Now, they have said that many people who have now visited the grave, that you could see him. There was a time that you could see him. Now it just says that it's dark and full of condensation, and many people go up there and they look down there. Now, I don't know about you. Can you please put it in the comments? Do you think that you would be looking down into this grave? What? Was that a no? Yeah, I'm in that too. I'm in that category too. No, I'm not going to look into that grave. I think some things just have to remain a mystery, don't you? I mean, I just don't think that's the case. But bless his heart, he had this fear, and that's what he made, was this coffin with this contraption. And it was very, very sad that he had to fear death like that. But interestingly enough, there is another little, I think it's significant. His father was born in Salem, Massachusetts in 1792. Now, I don't know, let's add a little spook to it, right? And he passed away on Halloween in 1856. And that's what scared Dr. Timothy, his son. That's what scared him, was the fact that his father passed away and they weren't sure. And for those patients that he had seen and that passed away, he said he had definite evidence that there were many who were buried alive. I can imagine that. That's a horrible thing to even think of. So his father, I've got a picture of his gravestone. But I just think that's so bizarre, right? I mean, his father, born Salem, Massachusetts, passes away on Halloween night. And then he has this son who is so accomplished, so very accomplished. I also have a copy of his obituary. His obituary is really something to read. Let me read it to you. I love it, actually. And I'm going to put a copy up here for you. His obituary reads, in New Haven, the death of Timothy Smith. The Honorable Timothy Smith, who died in Middlebury suddenly on Saturday morning, was a number of years resident of New Haven. He was born in Moncton, graduated at Middlebury College in 1842. After leaving college, he accepted a position in the Treasury Department at Washington, where he remained some years. Then he studied medicine at the University of the City of New York and graduated in 1855. He at once went to Russia and was staff surgeon in the Russian army. He married a Russian lady of property. Isn't that funny? He married a Russian lady of property. I guess that means she had real estate. Okay. At this time, he did that, yes. Later, he returned to New Haven, buying the property known now as the Parch Hotel, where he lived several years with his wife, some of his children being born in this town. In 1861, he was appointed consul of Odessa, Russia, by President Lincoln. Isn't that amazing? And I'm sorry for my kitty back there. You know how that is. Cats don't meow for humans. It's confirmation for the universe, right? That's what it is. Okay, so anyhow, he remained as consul there and at Galatz for a long term of years. He came to the United States some few years since to finish the education of his older children, his wife, and 4 youngest children remaining in Russia. Good grief, how many kids did he have? While the 4 oldest, 3 sons and 1 daughter, were with him. His body will be placed in the vault of New Haven Cemetery on Wednesday and thus await orders from Russia. Now, my imagination kind of goes a little on forward with this, waiting. What orders from Russia? What are we talking about here? What orders? Where are we? I mean, that's amazing. But imagine President Lincoln in your obituary. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting. I wanted to bring that to you. Just a short little mystery manner, little, I guess, episode to bring this to you to get the new year started off right? With the fear of being buried alive. Taphophobia is the name of that. If you're ever in the New Haven, Vermont area, just off Town Hill Road, you can go to Evergreen Cemetery and you can actually peer down at Dr. Timothy Clark Smith. Say hello to him from Zelda. Will you do that, please? So the one thing that many who have visited Dr. Smith's grave have said that at night they see an eerie green light coming out of the window. So I don't know about you. I'd like to see that. I think I would like to see that. If I had a clear path to leave, I think you too. But I would like to see that. And for right now, we're going to stop, have this break for a very important message, and I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, this is your friend Zelda Kelly, and I would like to take a minute to invite you to stop over to Psychic Secrets. That's www.psychicsecrets.com. There you can find an advisor that can help you with advice, direction, and guidance that you need. And also you can read our blog, which has a lot of really, really good little articles and information and can actually answer some questions for you. You can find us here on this same site, this Secrets Mystery Manor. We are there. So you're there already if you found us. But we also have another section, which is the Secrets Laws of Attraction. We have some wonderful videos up, and we would love to have you stop by and take a look at that. Now, I want you to know that Secrets really is here for helping the person. We have qualified, experienced advisors on call 24/7. We have the ability to chat. We have the ability to take a call and actually even a video call if you feel so inclined. So stop on by to psychicsecrets.com. That's www.psychicsecrets. That's 2 S's in the middle now. psychicsecrets.com. And take advantage of our first-time offer. For those of you who have never called before, first-time customer, we have an offering of 30 minutes for $30. You know, we can get a lot accomplished in 30 minutes. I'm so glad that you stopped by today to listen to Secrets Mystery Manor. And I hope you take the invitation to come on over and check out our advisors. We're here for you. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you soon, and you'll see me on there. I'm extension 11. So back to our podcast. Bye for now. Okay, and we're back. And I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come to you this year. Gosh, I haven't talked to you since last year, right? So I wish for all of you to have a happy, healthy, wealthy, abundant, very blessed, and very brave heart. And I want you to have this going through 2022. And in the meantime, get ready. We'll be back again very soon with another episode of Secrets Mystery Manor. And thank you again for stopping by and letting me come to you this day. My name is Zelda Kelly, and you be well. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Until next time, thanks so much for listening. I just love this, don't you?